I'm Tom Duffy. I am the founder of Wide Load Custom Guitars. Today I'd like to talk to you about our Purple Hazy bass. So the Purple Hazy bass is one of those premium instruments that we sell. It's got some great components which I'll share with you in a moment, and it's super fun to play. It sounds fantastic, which we'll demonstrate in just a bit. Okay? So I guess the first thing to take a look at is that, look, no hands. This bass is perfectly balanced. You could play it wherever you want and it's not going to move. If you're more of a vertical person, it's great. So I tend to like my basses hung a little bit lower than most folks, but it doesn't really matter where you place it. It's going to be balanced. There is no neck dive on this guy regardless of how heavy the tuners are. And these are Grover Titan tuners, which are kind of girthy. But we'll talk about those in just a minute as well. Okay? All right, so let's start with the body. This is a solid maple body made by Warmoth, and I painted it what I call a road-worn purple. And one of the cool parts about Wide Load's road-worn looks is that they're protected. So the road-worn aspect of it is done, and then it's protected with a top coat. In this case, it's polyurethane. So it's not going to get any worse unless you want it to. You'll have to do it on your own, though. Okay? I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the body so that you can see the finish a little bit better. It's actually really pretty, I think, how the grain shows through on the body. So let's zoom in just a bit, and you can see the grain poking through the purple, and it just looks fantastic. So let me flip it over so you can see the back side as well. And sure, on the back side, same idea. The grain just shines through. You can also see that Wide Load custom neck plate. That's our symbol, the lightning bolt, as well as a convenient battery holder. This guitar has active pickups, so we know batteries wear out. Having the battery holder obviously makes it a lot more convenient to change them. Okay? So that's the body. We'll continue on the body. You see the pickups. This is the EMG PJ Active X preamp set. Okay, so it gives you the extra headroom of the X preamp from EMG. In the front, in the neck position, there's that split coil P bass pickup, and then in the bridge position, you have the single coil J bass pickup. The controls. So this one, the front control, controls the volume for the P bass pickup. This is the volume control for the J bass pickup. And then this third control is actually pretty cool. This is the EMG BTC component. And what that does is it allows me to set either gain or cut on bass and treble. So you control the bass gain or cut with the bottom part of the concentric knobs. And there's a little detente in the middle that shows you where halfway is. And you would do the treble aspect of it on the top part of the knob. So it's concentric, it's great. You can dial in virtually any tone you want. Okay? The bridge. My absolute favorite bridge to install is the Hipshot Kick-Ass bridge. It's high mass, delivers fantastic sustain, and transfer tone to the body is unbelievable. The favorite aspect for me with the Hipshot Kick-Ass bridge is how easy it is to intonate, and that's because of the long travel of the saddles. So the saddles can move forward and back to get the intonation done perfectly. I also like the fact that it's customizable string spacing. So if I can zoom in just a hair, you can see the saddles have those little gold inserts. Those guys can be moved left or right so that you could set the string spacing to whatever works for you. I absolutely love this bridge. I install it on almost everything where weight is not a concern. Okay? All right, cool. The neck. So the neck is a Mighty Mite jazz neck. So it's 20 frets, 38 millimeter nut, hard rock maple on the back, maple fretboard on the front. The truss rod is adjusted at the headstock. And then you can see, I'll try and zoom in again on the tuners. I mentioned these before. These are Grover Titan tuners, and they do have some mass associated with them, but that's actually a good thing in my estimation. They hold a tune because of the mass. So we don't have to worry too much once we're in tune about staying in tune. I also have a 3-string string retainer there to help me get that point um, for the longer strings to stay in tune. Okay? All right, cool. So the only thing left to do is to see how it sounds. So why don't we do this? Why don't we play a couple of tunes? I'm going to play them through my trusty Ampeg RB210. That amp is sold as a 500 watt amp, but the 500 watts is really only achievable with a extension cabinet. When you play the amp by itself, it's a 350 watt amp. Doesn't matter here, it's a very small setting. It'll just allow you to see what the tone could be when you play through a premium level amp. Okay, I have the tone controls set pretty neutral on the amp, so the bass, the mid, and the treble controls are set to 12 o'clock. So there's no boost, there's no cut for any one of those signals. We're just going to listen to the bass play. And then maybe in a bit we'll turn the grit controls on. I do have the volume set a little bit below 9 o'clock, simply because if we set it any higher, I'll shake the walls in my office, and we probably don't want that, at least not for a quick demo. Okay, so I got the bass tuned up. I'm going to start with a few of the phrases from a song that I've released called Gimme Gimme. That song's available pretty much wherever you stream music. So you can get it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, anywhere you go, you're bound to run into my songs. So I find the sweet spot for this bass is when I take the P bass volume and I make it about 75%. And then I take the J bass volume and I make that one about 50%. I actually, for now, have the bass control turned pretty far up, and I have the treble control turned pretty far up as well. Okay, Gimme Gimme's a rocker, so I need a little bit of growl. So let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so that's a mixture of the P bass pickup and the jazz pickup. Let's do this. Let's play something a little bit bluesy. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of switch them. I'm going to turn the P bass pickup to about 50%, and let's turn the jazz bass pickup up to about 75%. And see if we can get a little bit more mellow jazz bassy feel. So this is going to be a quick 12-bar blues riff, which I do in B, for a song called The Last Days Part 1. You can find that one wherever you stream music as well. Goes something like this. So you can hear that J bass mellow goodness coming right from the pickup set. It's really a nice sound. Okay. Let's say you wanted something maybe a little more proggy, so that we can do a little bit of riffing on the bass if you like. I have to admit, I'm much more of a right hand player than I am a left hand player. So I get a lot of my kind of tones and in between notes from my right hand, not necessarily my left hand. So I actually have another song out there called Can't You See that uses this riff typically in G, but I'm going to play it in G, then A, and then B as well. So it goes something like this. You'll hear it. And here it is in B. Okay, so there's that. Let's play that riff again, only now I'm going to turn the P bass pickup all the way up, and I'm going to turn the J bass all the way down. So this will be really nice and thumpy. Here's A. And then lastly B. So everywhere on the neck for this particular bass, the tone is just unbelievably good. So, I can't recommend it enough. I'd like to do one last thing for you. It's kind of, well, the band that I play in, it's the Tom Duffy Band. We play the Lenny Kravitz tune, Are You Gonna Go My Way? And there's a really nice section where the guitar and the bass are kind of running back and forth with each other. And so maybe I'll play what I interpret it to be. And full disclosure, my band is not about playing things note for note. If you want to go see a band play things note for note, why bother? Just play the record. So what we do is we kind of play these songs and try to make them our own. So that one starts up pretty high in the neck. It's way up here, and it goes something like this. So it's really nice to be able to move. For me, I like to move up and down kind of vertically on the fretboard rather than horizontally, because it kind of just makes more sense to me to keep the notes closer together. Anyway, that's my technique. It doesn't have to be yours. I hope you can hear that the tone and the sustain you get from this monster is just fantastic. So full disclosure, this is not a light bass. This bass weighs in at just over 11 pounds. So be aware of that as you're considering purchasing. Having said that though, that weight really does transfer into some super, super warm tones and fantastic sustain. So, if we can just hold a single note, that note really does resonate. Okay, last thing I'm going to do for you is I'm going to play that Gimme Gimme riff again, but this time I'm going to add some of what the Ampeg amp provides called grit, just so you can hear that this bass really does well in a kind of high gain distortion mode as well. So let me flip that switch, okay, and now we can play that Gimme Gimme riff again. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool, I have to admit. The Purple Hazy bass is available kind of wherever you do your shopping for musical instruments. It's a one-of-a-kind bass. It's priced at $9.99, and you can find it on eBay. You can find it on Reverb. You can find it on Sweetwater's Gear Exchange site. Okay? All right, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing you, and I hope you enjoyed this quick demo of the Purple Hazy bass.